The St. Kitts government actually told an economic citizen that he did not have the right to work in St. Kitts. If you go overseas and you're going to be working in a country that you're planning on getting residency or citizenship in, you better make darn sure that you can definitely work in that country, because as I've mentioned before in the past, a lot of businesses are not available except to citizens of that country, and St. Kitts is very protective of outside people working in St. Kitts if they're not citizens. And in this particular case I'm going to tell you about, they even try to keep an economic citizen from working. If you're also a multimillionaire or someone that's making at least $200,000 US a year, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit the button at the top of the page that says Apply with Us, and you'll get questions that will come up, and then hit the button at the bottom of the page that says Send Back to Us, and we'll see what we can do to try to solve your problem. Okay, now an economic citizen is one that got citizenship fast by investing money in that country and was not actually born in that country. I'm going to tell you about a story where an economic citizen literally in St. Kitts tried to get involved in a business, and did this over like a 5-year period with 3 different submissions of applications sent in, and nothing happened over that period of time until the very end, which I'll tell you about. But anyway, the economic citizen, it all started in 2008, had applied for a license in a certain field that he was qualified to work in. The license was approved by the Ministry of Finance, but on certain businesses, the St. Kitts Cabinet also has to approve that person before that business license can be granted. And this person was never denied the license by Cabinet, but Cabinet just refused to respond with an answer on the matter and would never return this person's phone calls or emails. Cabinet kept saying also that the paperwork was lost each time after 3 applications were filled out over like a 5-year period. And this was, like I said, from 2008 to 2013. All right, now what happened was the next step was the Ombudsman was actually contacted. The Ombudsman is a person who investigates complaints against public bodies and where appropriate recommends redress. Unlike the courts, the Ombudsman draws on the experience of dealing with individual complaints to identify and report on systematic problems within the public administration. All right, now, after the Ombudsman was contacted, the Attorney General was contacted, and the advisor of the Prime Minister was also contacted, and they all agreed that the economic citizen had all the rights that a natural-born citizen had in St. Kitts, except that an economic citizen could not run for public office. That's it. There was no difference except for that one discrimination there. This is quite clear in the Citizenship Act of St. Kitts, but one of the top government officials persisted, saying that there are certain businesses whereby a citizen had to be born in St. Kitts to work in that field, and this was in direct contradiction to the Citizenship Act and what it stated. A lawyer was hired, a lawsuit threat occurred, and the license was finally granted. Now, the reason I'm bringing this out is if countries will give a citizen a hard time, and in this case, tell him that he could not work in certain fields, can you imagine what someone that's not a citizen is going to be treated? And this is why, not all countries are this strict on people that are not citizens, but then some are. You need to check this out real good before you uproot and move to another country to work. The UAE will let you work in just about any sort of business that you want to get into, but some trades in the UAE, you can't even own 1% of the company unless you have citizenship in the UAE. To give you an example, a UAE national has to own 100% of a real estate company in the UAE. So you really need to check this out before you go there. And there's all kinds of problems in the UAE. I'll be honest with you, I would much rather set up a company in St. Kitts than the UAE. But that's another tape. I've got several tapes in the UAE that you can look at. I actually lived there for 4 years, so nobody knows better on the UAE than I do. And I've been in both places, St. Kitts and the UAE, and St. Kitts is an easier place although this particular person had a lot of problems. Anyway, if you're interested in learning more on how to get your taxes to zero or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen. You'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And number 2 is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below and I'll see what I can do to try to solve your problem and get back with you on it. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit the part at the top that says apply with us. You'll get questions that will come up, and then hit the button at the bottom that says send back to us, and we'll see what we can do to help you in solving your problem. We deal with 74 different citizenship by investment and residency by investment countries that I think you'd be interested in looking into. If you're not interested in St. Kitts or even Dubai for that matter, and we can advise you on the advantages, disadvantages of these countries. So, get back with us and we'll see what we can do to help you. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.